So, as you can clearly see, this movie
is awesome.
yeah, okay, all jokes aside, I'm NG. Today I will try to fix Star Wars The Last Jedi. So, the first character I always think of whenever someone mentions The Last Jedi is Kylo Ren. In my opinion, he had a great potential, but instead they turned him into a bitch. And not that good kind of bitch. He spends the entire movie basically trying to decide which side to join. And this is not that bad at all in and of itself. But he bitches almost every time he's on the screen and fucking annoys me, man. So let's fix him first. So the first time we see him, he's recovering from his pathetic defeat in the hands of Rey. The Mary Sue that nobody likes except the SJWs, of course. This scene is actually not that bad at all. Snoke senses his doubt and punishes him. This basically sets up the upcoming betrayal pretty well. After that, he goes into his ship, and in the next scene, he's about to shoot at Leia's ship. But he hesitates and doesn't pull the trigger. However, one of the bad guys' ships comes and blows the ship. Now, this could have been a really very powerful scene that sets up and develops Skywalker's character further. But instead, we got a Super Leia, and at this point, in the theater, the only thing that stopped me from leaving were my friends who actually like this garbage. What I'm trying to say is that their opinion is fucking dumb, man. Like, okay, I was a bit rude on that one, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even if mine is more educated and better. But anyway, so to fix this crap in our version, Leia actually dies. No Superman fucking Hannah Montana shit! Yeah, thus making Kylo doubt his master and the dark side even more. Now, at this point, we gotta see what we can do for Luke and Rey's characters. Let's tackle Luke first, because he'll be a bit easier to fix, even though we don't agree with what they did with him in this movie, basically changing his character completely and destroying his legacy. There isn't much we can do about that without changing the entire movie, of course, which would take too much effort for us to do. Well, they sure didn't bother making a good movie, so why we should just bother changing it completely? Am I right? The only way I can think of to change Luke is to make him a bit more sorry for failing Kylo.
Go away.
In our version, Luke is not on that island to die. He's there because he doesn't believe in himself to be a Jedi Master after his mistake. He's too ashamed even to look Leia in the eyes. Rey sees that and acknowledges that Luke has made a mistake, but she tells him that it's not too late to fix the mistake. She tells him that she can still sense good in Kylo Ren.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drives a go wild. I've got the moves that really move 'em. I said chill up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
And with Luke's help, they might be able to return him back and win the war. After that comes the moment when Snoke connects Rey and Kylo. Rey feels Kylo's doubt and is actually nice to him.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
She understands his pain and has faith that he will make the right decision in the end. She goes to their ship to help him and then gets captured by Snoke. Seeing that Rey has faith in him even after everything he has done, Kylo decides to help Rey, but this time no cheap nonsensical tricks with the fucking turning off the lightsaber, please. This was yet another moment I wanted to leave, but my friend stopped me. Again. There is no way in fucking hell! Such a cheap trick could ever work on someone who is as strong, if not stronger, than Darth Sidious himself. I mean, I don't think this lame shit could ever work on me while I was fucking asleep. Let me alone, you fucking Snoke! So in our version, Kylo and Rey both use the Force against Snoke. They take a ship and barely escape with their lives after running from Snoke's big red room and fighting the period blood guys for a bit. And here it comes, the best part in the entire movie. The SJW lady comes from nowhere and suddenly becomes a leader. At this point, I can easily say that Poe is the only character I actually like in this movie, and the character I hate most of all is, of course, the Purple Lady. Firstly, let me explain why Purple Lady is the worst character in Star Wars ever. This hole is basically one fucking huge plot hole, man. Like her fucking So anyway, the first time she shows just how little common sense she has is when she decides to lie to Poe and not tell him about the plan. The movie fucking tries to justify this when Leia says the Purple Lady didn't want to be seen as a hero by her people.
She was more interested in protecting the light than she was seeming like a hero.
So, is being a fucking traitor and having half of your crew rebel against you better somehow? Like, there's a difference between being selfless and being a shady, nonsensical cunt. There is absolutely no justifiable reason for her to hide the plan from Poe and the rest. So fucking fuck the Purple Lady. The other plot hole is when she decides to screw the rules.
Screw the rules, I have money!
And use the ship's light speed as a way to destroy all of the bad guys' ships somehow. Okay, so first of all, this is not how light speed actually works. Even if it's called light speed, it actually works more like teleportation. If it worked the way they show in this movie, why didn't Luke just make a ship run into the Death Star on autopilot the same way? And besides, if a ship moves that fast, it'd be fucking hella impractical. A little meteorite in the way and the ship would be fucked. So, since the Purple Lady is a huge plot hole, I'ma just cut her out of the movie and have my boy, the legendary Admiral Akbar, in her place.
It's a trap!
Who instead of dying like a bitch, survives somehow. Like, I don't know, he just decided to go to the toilet or something while the bad guys were shooting in the middle of the fight. So he is now in charge, and being a good character, naturally he has some common sense and tells the plan to everyone. And here comes the part with Finn and Rose, and let's just cut it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to begin with. Who the fuck would trust a guy that looks like this? It's such a shocker that the least trustworthy, drunk, hobo-looking guy I have ever seen betrays them. So fuck the boring casino planet and the crackhead. I'm just gonna pretend it never happened and use the big ship as a cover to escape with the smaller ones. Like, Akbar stays in the ship to make sure that the ship stands between the smaller ships and the bad guys for as long as possible and dies like a legend, which he actually is. After Akbar and the big ship goes down, the bad guys with Snoke in charge see the smaller ships and follow them to the Salt Planet. Instead of the casino planet scene that was like completely pointless and goes on for about half an hour, we might actually put a scene that explains who Snoke is and where did he come from. I still can't believe they wasted so much time on a pointless scene in which like they rescue animals that probably got caught like 10 minutes after Finn and Rose instead of spending that time on a character that needs development like Snoke. So the only way for us to have a scene that explains Snoke's background and make sense is of course with Kylo. After he and Rey escape the bad guy ship, we can have them traveling to Luke's island, for example, where Kylo can tell them both what he knows about Snoke. But first, we get a scene in the ship with Kylo and Rey. So he feels a bit nervous and afraid of meeting Luke again. And we could actually have a nice and emotional scene with Rey comforting him before they meet.
Murderous snake!
So when they get to Luke's island, the moment he sees Kylo, he gets defensive and prepares for a fight. Kylo and Rey try to explain what happened to Luke, but he's still not convinced until Kylo gets on his knees and says that if Luke doesn't trust him, he can strike him down right here. Luke pulls out his lightsaber, but stops his attacks right in front of Kylo's face. And after he sees that Ben was not bluffing, he actually hugs him and apologizes. After Ben has explained to Luke and Rey what he knows about Snoke, they go to help the rebels. So I think it's best just to murder Finn, like right here, by having him sacrifice himself and destroy the weapon, again dying like a hero, and setting up a bit of more grim atmosphere. It would be better to see that there is an actual danger to the characters, since in The Last Jedi, right now, the bad guys are a complete joke. The best way to make them more intimidating is to have them actually kill someone. So, Finn sacrifices himself to stop the weapon, and just as everything seems lost, Rey, Kylo, and Luke come to the rescue. Kylo wants to fix his mistake, so he stays to hold back the bad guys off with Luke, since they're more experienced than Rey. So she stays with the rest of the rebels and helps them escape by lifting the rocks. At this point, Kylo gets overwhelmed by the bad guys, and seeing that Luke also sacrifices himself to protect Kylo and to hold the bad guys off, just enough for the rest to escape. This way, I feel like he gets to atone for his past mistakes with Ben and actually dies like a hero, instead of the bitch death he got in the real movie. Yeah, that's all we could think of to make this movie better. Shit, it's actually pretty hard to fix something this broken. I think we actually did a pretty good job with what we had in the first place. Gentlemen, it's been an honor. And hello amigos, see you next time, may the force be with you.